What is going on, YouTube? This is The Last Musketeer, and welcome to the finale of the 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross free-to-play Is It Worth It series. A mouthful as always, but we got through it, guys. So the first and most important thing I should say is I do apologize for being late with this video. It is a couple days after it was supposed to be released, but I've uploaded it 2 or 3 different times to YouTube, and before I took it off private, before I made it public for the viewer, I have went back and not been satisfied with the end product, so I went and deleted the commentary multiple times. It's caused me to have a little bit of throat soreness, so I had to take a little bit of a break before I actually went in and did some more. So I've deleted a full commentary after upload like 3 or 4 different times. That's how serious I am about making sure that I do this the right way. So hopefully I can get my point across. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling about that. The first and most important aspect of this game, in my opinion, is just how well they orient the free-to-play player with the pay-to-play player. Because as a benchmark, I'm going to take a comparison with some of the One Piece gacha games and the Bleach gacha games and talk about them in comparison to this one in specifics. Now, I'm not saying that all the One Piece or Bleach gachas are bad, because I haven't played all of them, and there has been a couple here or there that are actually pretty decent, but basically a company will buy the licensing rights to a popular anime such as One Piece or Bleach, and then the selling point of the game is just based on the fact that, oh, I could play as my favorite characters, run around in my favorite anime universe, and it'll be a great time. There's going to be so much content. I'll get to see some of the story through a different perspective that I've never seen before. And yet you get into it with all the advertisements that you'd seen, and it's nothing like what you pictured. For some of the One Piece or Bleach ones that I played in the past, they have had the meta heroes locked behind some sort of event paywall, or you didn't get enough summons as a free-to-play to be able to grab them, or maybe you did get lucky and grabbed them with the limited ones that they do give you, and yet you have to have multiple dupes on him to be, for him to be somewhat good. So there are a lot of different caveats, and they kind of alienate the free-to-play player and just take the overall fun experience out of it, because you feel like you're never going to be competitive, you're never going to get very far, you're having trouble with stages, you're stuck on them for a long time until you get lucky enough to pull some specific thing. Or maybe you have to wait until the rerun to actually pick up the limited hero that was back then, and they're no longer meta. So it just changes the whole aspect on the outlook that people have on the game. Now this game, however, I think does an absolutely fantastic job of allowing the free-to-play player to be competitive with a large majority of the player base. And from all the veterans I've talked to, just all of them saying that they've never missed a banner that they wanted to pull on. It's just a fantastic thing to realize, especially going into the game, because then I wasn't as worried about trying to put forth as much time as possible so I could actually split my time a little better with my other games, other series that I had going on, plus my outside job. So it was just a relief to me knowing that. And like I said, I get the Purgatory Meliodas, which is the second best character in the game, and it was just so fast grabbing him because of all the gems. They just come in droves. Constantly I'm grabbing them just from doing individual missions. Completing chapters gives you a full 10 pull right away, and I was on chapter 12, I think, by the end of this. And also doing some of the other story content that comes along with it, like Ragnarok, as it was released, as the gameplay footage is showing here. And getting more gems through that, doing the events, getting gems, doing my dailies, getting gems, doing the PvP and getting gems, and I didn't even put a big focus into PvP. You can, if you put a good focus into it and keep working up your heroes, get pretty far in it really fast and start earning a lot of pulls. So all in all, grabbing the events outside of how far the wells can get in PvP and some of the leaderboards for boss missions, stuff like that, you're gonna have a great time with clearing content and playing different content in this game. So as a free-to-play player, I think it is absolutely worth it to try this game. Now, you may not like turn-based systems. That's completely up to you. It is turn-based, card-based, So there are a lot of factors that go into it, but if you do like the gameplay, you do like the animation, absolutely, I think this game is fantastic and it is worth playing, especially if you like the 7 Deadly Sins anime, because it completely follows the storyline, other than adding new storyline content to it with a fantastic animation. But this is something I wanted to throw in because it made me laugh, because I watched it for like 30 seconds before I clicked off. So you can click a mission that you're working on, and it'll auto-walk to the next part of it if you want to do that, unless you want to do it yourself manually. But I'll do that at times to make it a little less click-intensive. And it kept walking back and forth like it was bugged, and then this part, I go to get the reward from the quest, and it freezes after this. I'm clicking around, I can't get it to do anything, so I have to close the game out. But this is the only instance that I've had in the full month of playing that I've actually had a bug or some type of freeze. So maybe I can chalk it up to my internet connection at the time, or the fact that this came right after the Ragnarok story update. So, you know, there may be bugs here or there that they have to look at, but honestly, it's flowed so smoothly. I've never had frame drops, anything like that. It's been absolutely a fantastic experience. Now, from the event perspective, this is one of the things. You get a Ragnarok Fate of the Gods bingo, and you can do this to get some evolution rewards that are normally a little harder to get. Not that hard, you can get them through other stuff, but these are just free along with doing regular story content, so that you don't have to go out of your way to farm them from the dungeons or whatever other way that you manage to farm these from. So it's just a good way of getting extra content, and there's a lot of different pages. You don't just have the one. It always goes on to multiple pages, so there's plenty to earn, and a lot of times they will also throw a skin in there for his particular hero. I don't know if it's based on the one that's in the current banner or not, because the one that's going on right now is Freya, and as much as I'd like to try to pull her, being the end of the series, I'm not going to focus on that. So it's more so just showing off, you know, what you're capable of doing. And aside from just the bingo stuff, there are other events like boss events, final boss events that have leaderboards where you're trying to get as much of the points as you can by doing different challenges in that thing to get better rewards at the end of it. So you get like ranking rewards, stuff like that. It's really cool, a really great system. But this is one of them, the World Tree Tower, and it has different stages. And you can see here, the first completion for all of these gives a guaranteed gem. And I had absolutely no problem clearing the whole first floor. The second floor was still fairly easy for the couple missions that I did, but I didn't get to the last difficulty yet, so I can't tell you just how easy it would be for me to do personally. But I think if you're around where I'm at in level and you got kind of the hero setup that I do, then, you know, it shouldn't be that hard of a thing to do. But while I'm showing some of the clears for this World Tree event in the background, I'm going to talk about the animation while you're viewing it, so you can see it is in double speed at the moment, not just in-game, but also in the video, so it's going a lot faster than it actually would. But as you can see here, it's so visually pleasing. It's so smooth. I don't have frame drops. I don't have any of those problems. And not to mention that all the particle effects going around the heroes are really cool, especially for Purgatory Meliodas on the far left there. He has some really nice ones. The strongest version of Escanor that's in the game has some really, really sick particle effects and animations. The card animations, the art on them are all different. I haven't seen, I don't think, a duplicate of anything yet. Maybe some NPCs will probably duplicate stuff because really you don't have to put much into them. But as far as the regular heroes that you can use and the ones that you fight against in like boss fights and stuff like that, they all have really, really nice, well animated out animations, and they're all different. So it's been fun to watching that. People can tell me, you know, maybe in the comments if there are any that do duplicate, but I think even the from Purgatory Meliodas to any other version of him, I haven't seen any duplicates in that sense. Yeah, his kit in some of them kind of stay the same since, you know, it is Meliodas. He has a specific set of things that he does, especially in the anime. So, you know, in that sense, I don't blame them too much if some of them are similar, but they've just done a fantastic job of making everything feel new every time you do it. So, basically, from an animation standpoint, this game is a 10 out of 10 on that. And I normally don't go off a rating system, but I will say it on that one. Actually, so visually pleasing. And I'll show you some more. I'll show you actually my favorite one a little later on, one of the versions of Merlin, and I'll talk about that as we get to that point. But here are the supplies that you get from completing and collecting these coins from the world tree. So a lot of different things you can pull from. A lot of them are upgrade materials for not just your character but for equipment as well, so a really good way of earning that. And this is actually the second difficulty. I slowed this one down. It's running at normal speed 2 times in the game, so you can see, you know, just what it's like doing those fights. But these are probably like a jump of about 40 levels or so, and realistically not that bad. I put a double skill up on Meliodas so that his AoE ability hits as hard as it possibly can at this sense, without him unlocking the true magic damage upgrade from getting hit or somebody on his team getting hit. And I one-shot all of those guys. So the next ones will come out. I do get lucky and pull another 2 of the AoE ones so I can fuse them together, and I also have the skill up from Gowther again to actually get it to rank 3. So it's another one-shot. Now, you may not get lucky with the pulls, and it may take a little longer to clear them, but honestly, my Purgatory Meliodas probably cannot be downed by any of these guys. I don't think any of them hit enough with his overall healing and defense to actually take him down. So, like I said, I didn't get to test the hardest difficulty, so we won't know, you know, just how hard that can be in general. But I think for the most part, with Purgatory, I could probably clear a majority of the content in the game with my current ranking with level and equipment. Now, there are some fights that are really hard that he's not going to be able to do. Do keep in mind, you can't do everything just because you have a meta hero. There are also probably other farmers that are better overall, but I have a limited selection right now. I haven't done too much on that. Now, one thing I do want to talk about that is a cool thing, but at the same time it is a bad side of the game, is that the skins do have stats. Now, I don't know how negligible they are because I don't think they are that high of stat changes, but there are stats. Now, that one can be earned with gems. It's 60 gems, which is a lot, but you can earn them with gems, so as a free-to-play, you can get some of these skins. Now, this one I think is only purchasable, which is a sad thing to see for sure. But like I said, it's not much of a change in terms of stats. Yeah, it's going to help you a little bit in PvP, and obviously in other aspects of combat, but how big of an upgrade is it? I'm not too sure. Now, there are other things I do want to talk about. The Hawk Pass loyalty shop is really cool because I didn't really focus on it, so I could have gotten a lot more scraps to spend here, but you can get skins out of this as well. You can get characters out of this. You can get some emotes, like some stamps kind of thing. You can get a full awakening star, which is really good. It's going to save you a lot of actual materials for that, but it has some really good options. Like I said, it's another free-to-play aspect. Now, you can do it with purchasable rewards, but I don't think you really necessarily have to. It's not that crazy of an upgrade of stuff. You get a little extra stuff, but it is what it is on that. Now, do a couple summons to show for the Freya thing. I got one SSR in one of them. It was a dupe, and this other one didn't really get anything out of it. It was a bunch of silvers and golds, but the good thing about it is the coin shop is a viable way of getting a lot of different upgrades and stuff that you need. Now, another thing I needed to mention is, based on where the story is at, and this one is the one where Esteros, you'd fought the 10 Commandments, and Esterosa comes out and stabs Meliodas, all that stuff. So you're not able to use him. He's out of commission at the moment, to not talk about too much of it. But you can use a support hero from somebody. They're basically called mercenaries in this one. And so I tried to use one of the versions of Escanor. He wasn't hitting very hard. He had weak affinity, so it was a bad thing. I didn't have another character that could do what Purgatory Meliodas did because I hadn't been worried about other farmers, since I used him basically anywhere, and most of the time I have a good choice of mercenaries to replace Meliodas when I can't use them. This instance I didn't, so I figured, you know, it would be a good showcase to not only show how you level up heroes in this game, but also how you equip them with gear, talk about the gear for a moment, and of course this is my favorite looking character in the game. She has the coolest sprites, in my opinion, the coolest animations that I've seen so far, so I really wanted to include her anyway, and plus she's a really good farmer. For all of her hits are AoE, so anytime you're fighting anything that's not a boss, she's going to wipe out plenty of squads really fast. So we're getting her ranked up, we're getting her evolved. So you'll take them to the max cap, you'll go to the evolution. Now I run out of materials that I needed for her, so I take a trip to the coin shop, which is where you use all of your dupes that you get through summoning. So all my golds and silvers are going to go to a great place. They're going to help me in evolving other heroes. So this is going to be really nice. I buy some grimoires, though I don't necessarily need these because these are 5-star and I need the 6-star one to take her to the next rank. So what I have to do now is go over to King and use the equivalent exchange. So to go up one, you have to use 6 of the books to go to the higher tier. So 5 to 6 will be 6 books per usage. If you go down, you use 1 book to get 2 books back, I think is what it is. So you're getting extra for going down, you're taking more from going up, but it makes it to where you don't have to go out of your way to farm if you've got plenty of them, and you just go and trade them up. And which all the ones that I've gotten, I really haven't went out of my way to actually farm any. So all the stuff that I'm getting is just from regular play or from the events, or also from the newbie rewards. So I'm in a pretty good spot. I have a ton of gold still. I got like 30 million from when I started from the mill. Now I don't know if that was always the case or if they messed up on something they just gave me extra, but I have a ton to use, so I've been stacked as far as gold. But I get her to my current level cap, which is 80. Now, I believe it goes up to 100 at the max, but you have to clear a lot more story progression to unlock the new tiers. So every time you get to a next milestone, it'll go to, whatever else. And I didn't have enough to do some of the awakening, so I just used the extra stars that I had, also from the newbie rewards and the events. So, like I said, you've got plenty of options. They do a really good job of giving you everything you need. And so I'm using these super coins to take her to a super awakening, which is going to up her stats even more. I'm trying to get her as strong as I possibly can right now so that it's the option I use for farming. Now, I'm also checking out her skins because Freya is the event character, so I thought there may be caveats with the spending to get them. This one's available in the loyalty shop or for gems if you want. This one available for gems, which is the one I really liked. I really like that skin for her, but I'm not going to buy it. Obviously, I don't have the gems right now. So I'm not going to do that, but you do have options. Some of them are going to be purchasable only through money, through real life money, but a lot of them are going to be available through doing events, doing certain trade-ins, that kind of thing. So, you've got options there, and all of them have stats included them. Some better, some worse, but still, it's really all about how you want them to look, I think, at the end of the day. Now, for the equipment, I used some of the vouchers that I had earned through some of the regular gameplay. I used my really strong vouchers on Purgatory Meliodas' gear, so I'm just giving her something I have currently sitting there, and I'm using some of the gems and stuff to level them up. Now, I don't get them all ranked up, obviously, because, I didn't put a lot of effort into getting a lot of those gems. I could go break down a ton of equipment right now and probably take them all the way up. But I don't feel like necessarily doing that because I don't think I need to. So we're trying it out with her, seeing if I can beat it this time because I could not beat it last time. But I'll kind of let you sit and watch the animation, and then I'll talk about it when it comes to the ultimate move. Alright, so with the ultimate move ready, this is my favorite in the game so far. Absolutely fun to watch. I've watched it multiple times, still can't get enough of it. It's so good. We give him a little Thanos snap, trying to get him out of here. Not quite enough damage right now, but it does do quite a bit, and it applies all the elemental things to him. So this next attack that I do is going to do quite a lot of damage and finish him off. And basically, that's going to bring us towards the end of the video, and I'm sure there's a lot of things that I missed talking about, guys, but I think that for the duration of the series, I've already gone over a lot of what I needed to talk about, and I don't want to just go ahead and reiterate for people that have already seen some of the other videos in the series. So I went over the key points, the things that I love about the game, and the things that I dislike, which there wasn't a lot that I disliked, but I could divulge more into that, but you know, it all comes down to what I was able to accomplish and what I see firsthand. So, you know, I can't talk about late game. I would like people that are veterans in this game, have a lot of playtime, could tell me in the comments what they think overall or what downsides they see for it. And then, you know, people can discuss it in the comments and really talk about it and give their insight on this. But anyway, guys, basically that's going to do it for me. I really enjoyed this series, and I hope you did too. Anyway, this has been The Last Musketeer, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.